This is literally the girl that got me into pickup. It was a combination of breaking up with my ex and this story. 2013, I had not even studied any pickup or game. I just went out one night randomly. I met this girl at the venue. I approached her. Turns out she actually wasn't even feeling me. Her boyfriend was at the venue, but her friend was cute and she threw her friend onto me and was like, I'm sorry, my man's here. He's really protective, but like my girl's over here. So she like threw this girl on me and the girl like just came over, started dancing with me and we started grinding. And here's what happens. All the logistics just aligned perfectly in my favor that night, which is why I pulled. There ended up being a flood in the basement where the club was and my jacket was in the bathroom. But the moment the flood happened, they closed down the venue and they just started pushing everybody out of the downstairs and like pretty much closed up the club. The lights came on. It was almost closing. So they pushed everybody out of the venue. We got separated from her friend. We get pushed out of the club with the crowd and it's raining outside. And my car happens to be like a block over. So naturally we just go over to my car. It was like God forced me to pull this girl to my car. So we get to my car, I turn on the car, J. Cole starts playing. It was like Sideline Story. And she was obsessed with J. Cole. So we start playing the album, we're vibing to the music, we're talking, blah, 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 blah. And I was asking her like, where do you live? Because her friend had dipped. Turns out she lives like fucking 5 minutes from my house, which was a blessing in itself too, because I was like, cool, I'll just drive you home. I live in the same direction. Or we could hang out over by my house. And she was like, I don't want to stay over by you, blah, 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 blah. We started driving and then as we got closer, she was like, okay, maybe we can hang out for a little bit. And so we end up going to my house. Right away, I just like go for it, dude. Like this was like one of the first times I had broken up with my girlfriend. So we just start going for it. I start making out with her. We start dry humping. I'm like super into it, super ready for it. And I get resistance, like trying to take her pants off. I just kept escalating and kept escalating and kept escalating because each time I was escalating, I was getting a little bit further. But I was so thirsty for it, dude. And eventually I got her pants off. She's like into it. And then at some point she like snaps out of it, rolls over and pulls her pants up. And she's like, no, not tonight. And I was like, damn. I remember thinking that, like, in hindsight, I was so needy and so thirsty for it. But honestly, I didn't know any better. I was in a long-term relationship and my thought was like, man, if we just get it in, we're gonna be like overwhelmed with sensation and pleasure and like it'll just happen. So I was just like pushing and it didn't happen. Next day, she leaves. She texted me as we left. Like I remember she was driving away and she texted me saying, hey, LOL. And then I was like, cool. So I started texting her and I just proceeded to text her day and night over the next 3, 4, 5 days, like all day, every day. And I started building up this idea in my mind of like, oh, the next time I see her, like we're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. I really like this girl. She's super cool. I just kept building up this idea in my head about her. 5, 6 days later, it's the next weekend. She ends up flaking on me and literally just bailing on me. Her response time starts getting longer. She starts becoming less available. I'm starting to become more needy and over pursuing. And now I have this thought in my head about like what would have been, and it just completely crumbles. This is literally the girl that got me into pickup. Like it was a combination of breaking up with my ex, who I was on break with at the time, and this story, because literally she ends up going ghost on me and I just couldn't fathom why this would have ever happened. In my mind, I was like, bro, we clicked so good. Like the texting was so good. In hindsight, it wasn't. It was almost like low-key pathetic, like how little girlish I was throughout the whole texting and how available I was and just dying to see her and just let me know because I'll just clear out my schedule. I can't wait to see you again. It's not a surprise why I turned her off. At the time, I had no idea. Obviously, this is almost a decade ago at this point, but it really puzzled me because like a week later, she was ghost. And then I was stuck Googling like why a girl pulls back on you. So that's what got me into this stuff. And in hindsight, I mean, dude, I was just way too aggressive when it came down to it. If you ever bring a girl home and it's about to go down and you just got her home, there is no harm in taking it a little bit slower. You're actually gonna get to the finish line faster. Chill the fuck out when you bring her home, vibe with her a little bit. Don't let the tension completely die. But if you escalate and hit resistance, it's gonna take so much more time to get past that wall. If I meet you, and as I'm meeting you, I'm like, hey, what's up, dude? What's going on? And I hug you. I'm like, oh, good to see you, bro. And then you're expecting me to let go, but I just keep hugging you. I'm like, yeah, dude, like, how's everything? It's good to see you. At some point, you would be like, can you like let go? Like, it's getting uncomfortable. At some point, I go to hug you again, you're gonna have that feeling of like, ah, no, not again. I hope he doesn't do that thing again, because the first time I did it, it made you uncomfortable. And then if I ever go to lift my hand again, you're gonna correlate it with that bad feeling. So if you're ever escalating and you get that resistance, it's gonna be even harder to break past that resistance later, which is why when you get a girl home or you're escalating, even in the physical escalation, take it slow on the way up. Escalate a little bit, pull back. It gives them the security and the trust and the comfortableness so that the next time you touch them, they get accustomed to it. And as they get more and more accustomed to your physical touch and the good feelings are associated with, that's how you're gonna be able to build it up further and further and further. And that's how you actually get to the finish line a lot faster than being that thirsty dude that blows it in the first way through. I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. For anybody that's interested in working with me personally to implement these concepts into your own life, I've put together a new coaching program where you could actually work with me directly one-on-one. We have live calls. I'm gonna show you the entire structure of how you should be running your dates and your interactions. We'll hold you accountable on it. We'll set weekly goals for you and actually push you through that process to go from where you're at right now to achieve your dream dating life. I've already helped hundreds, if not thousands of guys already make this transformation, so there's no reason I can't do the same thing for you as well. So all you have to do is click the link in the description. That's gonna bring up the application where you just answer a couple quick questions, and then you can book out a day and a time to actually sit down with us on a free consultation call so we can discuss more details about what that would look like, okay? The link is in the description. Click that link, man. Honestly, click that link. Watching videos is only gonna get you so far without implementation and execution, and that's why I've put together this program. So click that link below, fill out that application, book out that free call. I look forward to seeing you on that consultation call. Peace out.